Hey guys, Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so very soon we have a bunch of new Dragon Ball Fusions stuff coming to global. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what is going to be coming and what you guys can do to be prepared, especially because part of the stuff that we're getting is not actually all coming all in one go. So we are getting the EZA'S for the 4 original Fusions units. We do not get the Awakenings and EZA'S for the second batch of Fusions units straight away. On JP, there was a little bit of a gap, but the order of events and stuff is very different on Global at the moment as it was on JP. So I'm not sure how long Global is going to have to wait for the rest of the Fusion stuff, because the rest of the Fusion stuff came out on JP at the same time as the Goku and Buu Dual Dokkan Fest, but that's because the original stuff, this stuff that we're getting this coming week, came out in the celebration before, whereas now for us, we've got at least one other celebration in the middle with the Trunks. Then, of course, we'll have Saiyan Day, and then we'll get to the point where we'll probably be getting Goku and Kid Buu. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. Trunks doesn't have a Part 2 LR, so maybe somehow between Trunks' celebration and the start of Saiyan Day, they'll fit that other stuff in, but I don't know for sure, so obviously I will let you guys know as soon as that information becomes available, and we'll talk about that in a later video. So in terms of the Extreme Z battle for the Fusions, I will do a team building guide like I always do, so considering the time this video probably goes up, that team building guide will be out tomorrow, because I always like to put it out about 12 hours or so before the event actually comes out. So we're not going to talk too much about those guys. We're going to talk about the free-to-play units. So we have these two are Awakenings for units that are already out, and then the Tiencha, who has apparently been renamed to Yamhan, which is interesting. The original translation, and obviously on the wiki up until recently, it has been listed as Tiencha. Apparently Yamhan is the more accurate translation, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I can't remember what he was called in, I think it was like Budokai 1. He appeared as like a random what-if scenario where Tien and Yamcha fused. I actually can't remember what he was called in that. Maybe he was called that back then, and this is just the localized version of it or something. I'm not sure, because on JP, I'm pretty sure the original translation for Barlot was like Barotto or something, and then they changed it, so I don't know, but he's going to be called Yamhan. So he was never actually available for Global. He was a login bonus for JP back when the Fusion stuff first came out, but he is getting an Awakening as well. So this story event, the Dragon Ball Fusions story event, has never returned on Global. It's called the Fused World. It's never returned, so you can't do it with keys or anything, unfortunately. So you cannot pre-farm the copies of the two free-to-play characters, Tekka and Pinich. They are the player character and the player character's rival from the actual Fusions game. Sadly, you can't farm them up early if you didn't get them the first time around. And so this event comes back. It adds a second stage. So the way this event worked in the past, and the second stage is the same, there are 2 paths that you could go down. So for stage 2, back in the day, you'd go down the path to fight against Barlot to get the medals to awaken him, or you'd go down the path to fight Tekka and Pinich to get the copies of them. Basically, it's the same thing with the second stage. Once it gets added, you go down the path to fight against Yamhan. I have to try and remember to call him that instead of Tiencha, but Yamhan to get the copies of him. Or you go down the path to fight Tekka and Pinich, and you get these new Metamo Ring Awakening medals. So this is the item, of course, from the game Dragon Ball Fusions. If you haven't played the game, the whole point of Dragon Ball Fusions, it was kind of like Pokemon with Dragon Ball characters, right? Because you'd go around and meet characters from all across the series, recruit them to your like roster, and then you could fuse certain characters together. It wasn't everyone with everyone else. But basically the idea in universe is that this armband was created by Bulma at Capsule Corp, which has the Capsule Corp logo, so that 2 characters could put them on and do the fusion dance, and then they would successfully fuse regardless of all the limitations. Because if you remember back to when Goku is explaining fusion to Goten and Trunks with Piccolo during the Buu Saga, he specifically says that the 2 people doing the fusion dance have to be at the similar power level and roughly the same size So obviously at the time, Trunks is a little bit more powerful, so he has to like lower his power level so he can fuse with Goten. So the idea of this thing that Bulma creates is so that anyone can fuse, even if they are different sizes, different power levels and stuff like that. So that's kind of how they get around it. So these awakening medals that drop from this stage, you use them to awaken the Tekka and Pinich and the Tiencha or Yamhan. But these are the medals that will also be used to awaken this second batch of the Fusions characters. So you can get 20 medals to awaken each one. So once you've got these guys awakened, you want to go ahead and farm up 100 extra medals so that as soon as those awakenings go live in the game, you don't have to worry about going back and farming them because you will have them all already. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and do that. And so looking at the actual characters, so Tekka, he is, like I say, the player character. If you choose not to customize your character, then he is the player character that you play as. A few games do that. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head that isn't just Mass Effect, but you think of like the Shepherd art that's on the box for Mass Effect, like the normal male, like shaved head Shepherd. If you don't do any customization, like that's who you play as. Or you can customize your character and make all sorts of crazy stuff. But if you don't customize your character at all, then this is the player character. Now, the thing that you have to remember, I guess we might as well talk about this straight away. So, these units will get an EZA, all three of them, in fact. However, the EZA comes later on. So, with this release that we're getting on, it'll be Monday night if you're in the US, or Tuesday morning if you're in the UK like me, these units will get their awakenings, but they won't have their EZAs. And so, just like a lot of these things, like free-to-play units during the anniversary or during the download celebration with like the Krillin and Vegeta and the Zarbon and Dodoria, a lot of these units that are going to get EZAs, their pre-EZA form is just kind of mid, right? So, going back to the Tekka pre-EZA, he's a physical type speed, 3 key, 50%. Does supreme damage, lowers defense, attack and defense 100%, additional 30% when there is another crossover ally in the same turn, and then high chance of 25% attack and defense for all allies. So, I mean, he's not a terrible support for crossover, although obviously, you know, you have a 50% chance that he's actually not going to be a support unit at all. But he's not too bad, he's just very, very basic. The Pinich is kind of the same kind of leader skill, supreme damage, lowers defense. Key +2, attack and defense 100%, plus an attack 80% when performing a super. So he's okay, I guess. Gets a nice little buff on his attack. And then the Yamhan, supreme damage, lowers attack. Attack and defense 120, additional attack 60, and launches an additional attack, which has a medium chance of becoming a super when performing a super attack, when HP is 80% or less. So if you're on full health, he does not have the extra attack and extra attack buff and chance to do an extra attack. He also gets 6 key and additional 60% attack when HP is 80% or less. So he's okay pre-awakening, but once they actually EZA, then they become much better, right? So greatly raises attack for 1 turn, supreme damage, then its attack and defense 180, additional attack 80%, and launches an additional attack that has a medium chance to become a super when performing a super attack, when HP is 80% or less, key +6, additional 80%, and high chance of performing a crit when HP is 80% or less once only. So it is a once only effect, which those do kind of suck unless they're like really, really powerful, which this, you know, 80% extra attack, high chance to crit. It's not bad, but it's nothing too crazy. The worst thing about this unit is, like, he's not on a lot of categories outside of, like, fusion and crossover, but, like, look at his links. His links are actually terrible. And also, it's interesting because he has the Kamehameha link, even though his super attack is kind of the mix, right? The Dodon Ray and Kamehameha. So he has Dodon Ray and Kamehameha, but he's not on the Kamehameha category. So, bit of a weird one. Could definitely help out maybe for some free-to-play people. Like, there are a couple of EZAs that require crossover, but other than that, he's not too crazy. And then we have the Pinich. Once he gets his EZA, he becomes a crossover leader for 77%. Raised attack for 1 turn, supreme damage, lowers defense. Key 3, attack and defense 150, extra attack 120 when performing a super, launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super. So he actually becomes reasonably solid in terms of putting out damage after his EZA. Obviously he's nothing too crazy, but for a free-to-play unit, I think he is actually pretty decent. The problem again with him is his categories. Now, you can see from his art, he has a tail. I'm pretty sure in the story at the beginning when it introduces him as your rival, I'm pretty sure it says that he's a Saiyan, and he has Saiyan warrior race and the Saiyan lineage as links, but he's not on pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, but then he's also not on Earthlings. So I don't know what was going on when they decided this guy's categories, because the player character, although obviously if you choose to customize, you can be a Saiyan, but Tekka in his base form, I'm pretty sure he's just a human, and he is on Earthlings. But Pinich is not on Earthlings or Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans if he's supposed to be a hybrid. So not really too sure what's going on there. But Tekka, once he gets his awakening, he also gets the crossover leader skill. I've been messing around on my side JP account a bit recently, and funnily enough, he's the only like crossover category leader that I have, because of course I wasn't playing JP during the Heroes celebration, so I don't have like a really good crossover leader. But he also raises attack for 1 turn, supreme damage, lowers defense. He gets attack and defense 150, additional attack and defense 50% when there is another crossover ally in the same turn. Crossover allies attack and defense 25% and high chance of key 2 and attack and defense 25% for all allies. So he keeps this RNG chance to support, but he also gets guaranteed support for crossover. So if this high chance does go off, he is actually providing 50% attack and defense for crossover, which technically makes him one of the best crossover support units. It's just the fact that it's only a 50% chance that it will go off, and of course the game doesn't actually have any sort of like in turn, like, you know, on the HUD or the UI or whatever way of telling you whether this went off or not. I guess you could probably just tell once you've seen your rotations a few times. I guess you can be able to tell by whether or not the units have extra key or not. But that's a little bit annoying. But at bare minimum, he's still 25% attack and defense, which is pretty decent. And as long as he's on rotation with another crossover unit, which realistically is probably the only team you're going to use him on, right? He has 200% attack and defense. So pretty decent. Overall, I would say that they're solid free-to-play units, but nothing too crazy. Obviously, because they all EZA, but as I said, not straight away in the future, go ahead and farm up like 5 extra copies so you can have 1 spare copy at SA5, get the medals to awaken them so you have a second copy awakened at SA5, and then again, once their Extreme Z area goes live, because of course they are free-to-play units, so it's a 3-stage Extreme Z area, then you'll be able to go ahead, do that, and you'll have that copy at SA5 ready to feed in to get them straight up to Super Attack 15. So let me know what you guys think of the free-to-play units. Like I said, they're pretty solid for free-to-play units, but they're nothing too crazy. Obviously, the thing that I am probably looking forward to the most is the EZA'S for these guys. I've been link leveling them all at the time of recording. Pandel is the only one that I need to finish. I think she has 1 or 2 links that are still at 9, but everybody else is at full 10. So very much looking forward to doing the showcases for them and trying them out. And like I say, the team building guide for their Extreme Z battle will be out tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think. Are you hyped for these guys? Are you planning to pre-farm everything? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. And of course, remember, all of these units, they're not only because they're fusions, they're obviously on the fusion category, they are going to be on the fused fighters category that releases with the LR Super Saiyan 4s in the anniversary. So whilst that is a way away from global, these are obviously units that can be useful on that team. So yeah, let me know all your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.